Hello there, friends. Well, today is Tuesday 18th, August 18th, 2026. So YouTube did it again. They changed the rules again in less than, I think, a month. Now it all has to do with the views, of which I don't understand yet exactly how that goes. But I remember many years ago when I started on YouTube. I started about 14 years ago. They had another system back then. Back then they paid you depending of if somebody um, clicked on the video, on the advertising on your video. Any advertising that was showing on your video, and somebody clicked on the advertising, then you would get paid a certain amount. It varied depending on I don't know what, but so about 2 months after I started putting videos, I got paid by YouTube. They paid me $100. I don't know how many clicks or stuff like that. But that was a payment from YouTube, 100. And then they changed the rules. So that was the last payment from YouTube that I ever got. And like I said, that was about 14 years ago. And I've been making videos and never been paid by YouTube. So now, about a few weeks ago, they changed the rules. And now, I think it was yesterday, or the day, I think it was just a few days ago, they came out with a new rule that has to do with views. Now, I think now more than ever, you cannot, like they say, like the saying says, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't depend all your income on YouTube. You have to have other incomes. YouTube is too, or it's becoming too undependable. Suddenly they come up with rules, and like in every company, all the rules are really to benefit the company. All the rules that any company comes up with is to increase the profits for the company. And I think what YouTube is trying to do right now is squeeze the neck of the goose that's laying the golden eggs, and see how much they can squeeze that neck before it dies. So that's what they're doing. They're squeezing it to see how far away they can get. And many YouTubers are going to, with this last change, I think the ones that are most affected are the ones that are already in the program, in the partner program. In other words, all the channels that are already monetized. I don't know exactly how they're going to be affected, but I'm sure they will. So what I'm trying to say also is, like I said before, you have to have other incomes. Now the thing is, how can you use YouTube in your benefit without YouTube paying you any money, because it's getting more difficult every day. And they're going to keep on changing the rules, you know. The other thing that could happen is that because there's a lot of political commentators on YouTube, the other thing that could happen is that the government's going to intervene somehow, and they're going to censor YouTube. And somehow they're going to censor all the political commentators. And I don't think it'll affect everybody, but it's happening to other platforms, and don't see why not YouTube also. But I think I mentioned it in another video. You have to have, now more than ever, you have to have your income coming from somewhere else. You know, you cannot depend on YouTube. All the people that are monetized, they have to start now looking for work, because suddenly, I think the new ruling starts on August 24th. They're going to see the changes, and you know, a lot of people just quit their jobs and started going YouTube full time. I think you're not going to be able to do that anymore. So you have to have your other income. Now, the way that I started back 14 years ago was I made the videos, you know, and the one thing that I thought was, if I get monetized, good. If I don't, I'm still making money. And it is by showing what I do. And right now, for example, I am at work. Let me show you. I'm doing this sign. That's camel. It's backwards. I don't know if you can read it from this side, but it's a camel. This is the original, which is broken here. So I'm doing this, and this is what I do. This is my job. I use fire to bend the glass. And I've been doing this for about 20 years right here in my house. Before that, I worked in several companies, but I've been doing this for 35 years. It's only been 19 years that I've been independent, self-employed. And my main platform for advertising is YouTube. But I also use Facebook, and I also use Instagram. I make videos, and I'll put the link, like I said on the other video, I'll put the link to my main YouTube channels where I do the advertising. I show people what I do, and I also help people, tell them how to fix their neon signs. So YouTube doesn't pay me, but I do make money using YouTube. So that's my advice. Now, The way I got independent was simply by planning. I used to work in a company. I used to work 12 hours a day, Monday to Friday, and 8 hours on Saturdays. A lot of overtime, but I was working like crazy until I decided to become independent because I couldn't take anymore the being tied up to, you could say, to a schedule. The alarm clock was my enemy. So that's what made me decide to be independent. If for some reason, let's say I would have only gotten my money from YouTube, I would probably have problems right now. But I decided to go, it's a little bit more secure, you could say, route to put your own business. Now, right now with AI, you have to think very carefully what type of business you're going to get into. If you want to get into a business to be independent, because a lot of the employments are going to disappear. AI technology is going to eliminate a lot of businesses. Now, there's another thing that I was thinking the other day. YouTube needs creators, so creators make the videos. But what if YouTube decided to hire a group of AI people with software that made videos, and just told them, they were hired, they had a salary, and just told them, make as many videos as you can about sports, about fighting, about war, a ton, and we'll put them out there. So in other words, with AI, now YouTube can make their own videos, and a lot cheaper. After all, the videos that get more views are the ones that are, you could say, the ones that have action type of videos. So that's another possibility that could happen in the future. AI videos produced by YouTube, that way they don't need to pay so much money to create it. If I were the owner of YouTube, and I were an evil person that doesn't care about anybody, I would be already thinking about making my own videos. Why pay anybody, to make videos if I can make them myself? So with more reason to be independent and have your own income, and don't think or don't depend that someday, maybe someday, you'll hit from today to February, you'll hit the 4,000, and afterwards maybe you'll hit the 8,000. The only way that if you want to go that route, make sure you have your main income already, whatever it is. In other words, don't get rid of your day job. and then make the videos, and maybe you'll get lucky. But there's a lot of changes that are coming, and I don't see them that they're going to be good for the creators. So I showed you what I did. This is something that I used to do and as an employee. So I just transitioned from employee to self employed. If you already work in a place in which you can transition, do it. If you work in a place in which there's nothing to, in other words, you cannot go and put your own business, then you're in the wrong employment. The first thing that I would give you, first advice for anybody out there that's working, let's say in a McDonald's, Burger King, or any store that sells merchandise, you're just an employee there. Start to your next employment. You start looking for another employment, but your next employment is going to be an employment in which you're going to learn, and after you learn, you're going to be independent. For example, if you go into plumbing, you stay there for a year or 2 years, and once you feel that you've learned enough, you can be an independent plumber. Plus, plumbing will not be taken by AI. That's the way it is. If you like electronics, I don't know what you could do if you like electronics, but I know that electricians, for example, AI will not take their place. You can start, if you're young, you can start at like in an apprentice level on a company, electric company, if that's what you like, and you start growing. And then after a few years, you can become independent, get your license, and you'll be you won't depend on anybody to get your money. And so in other words, there's a lot of jobs, there's a lot of trades. If you are on the, let's say well, you know what, I've known several university graduates that left the employment world and got into a business for themselves. They forgot about the degree. If you are planning to study a degree and you have the money to do that, by all means, get the degree. Because you don't know what the future is going to bring. So in the future, in most better paid places, they require a degree. So might as well have the degree, under your arm, just in case. You use the degree as a parachute, but you aim at being independent. And then you make the videos that you want and see if you hit the jackpot. Maybe you'll hit the lotto and become monetized. So, well, that's the video for today. I'll see what I'll have for the next video. I'll try to research the better alternatives than YouTube as an income source. So I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.